Hey gang, welcome. Happy afternoon. Welcome to DJEP Live on April 20th. I hope everybody's having a great week so far. I know we got a few people still trickling in here, but hope everybody's well. If this is your first live event while you guys are joining us, feel free to type any questions in the chat window inside of Zoom. Just look at the chat icon at the bottom of your Zoom window, and you can click on that and type a message there as well. You can also unmute yourself at times and ask any questions as well. Of course, we have one of our beloved developers with us today, Alex. He's going to be joining us for our talk on SMS messages today. So everything SMS, we're going to cover basics from setting it up to templates to all kinds of goodies. So to get things going, we'll kind of let everybody kind of come in. So I'm just kind of killing time at this point. I know we still have some people actually still registering as well for the live event, but
cool. Let's leave it for a couple of minutes just to be on the safe side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hiya guys. I'm back again this month. Sorry about last month. I was struck down with shingles. Of all the things, all over my face and head. So I was knocked out for like 3 weeks. So yeah, sorry guys. Don't think you really wanted to see me with that all over everything.
Rock on. So in case you guys are wondering, we also have something coming up. If you guys haven't watched or look at, I should say, the updates underneath support options and software changelog, there's some cool stuff in there. If you haven't read it, I'm going to leave you to read it yourself right now. We're going to probably do our next live on a little bit of information that's in there, but to give you a little treat on that, to do that, just go to support options in the left menu and it'll be at the bottom of the software changelog.
Definitely go check it out. There's been, for any of you that use Instant Quote, there's been quite a few changes to Instant Quote as well.
Absolutely.
We've added a few small little extra features.
So I highly encourage you guys to check out the software changelog, but I think we'll kind of dig into this, get this started, because I don't want you guys to keep waiting. I know we got a lot to cover in a short amount of time. And of course, I know you guys probably have a ton of questions that we want.
Where's the software changelog again? Sorry about that.
That's all right. So it's going to be, if you go to support options in the left menu, and then just click on support options, it will load the options that you have for your account. And at the bottom of that screen will be the software changelog. And we also Melissa produces a video every month covering all of the changes. So next month, you'll be able to see the changes that took place in April on YouTube, and she'll walk you through some of the new settings. And like I said, next month, I'm thinking of doing our next live on some of those changes that you can see in there, because something definitely pretty big and important, I think, with Instant Quote that'll help a lot of us out.
The new Book It Now feature is pretty epic. Like if you get it all worked out, and we'll do a video on that. Yeah. We're going to do something totally different and separate to that.
So I guess, we might as well tell you, because you're going to read it yourself anyway, but in layman's terms, you'll be able to have a client submit an Instant Quote and go through the entire booking process automatically. So that's pretty huge.
And you can have them now revisit old quotes. So you can send them a link to it so they can come back later and tweak it or process it through, and you can expire it as well. So if you want it to expire in, say, a few hours, like it's a last minute speedy deal sort of thing.
And as always, oh yeah, go ahead.
You can do that as well now.
And as always, it is in open beta. And if you're wondering what open beta means, the definition of that is it's still in testing, but it is available to everybody that's on a standalone account or higher. You do have to be on a standalone account or higher in order to use that feature inside of the Instant Quote.
I've tested it. I think it works. I was able to get most of it all working with no issues. I didn't encounter any bugs. So if you guys manage to find anything, as always, post on the support forum and I'll take a look.
Absolutely. Again, yeah, post it on the support forum. You don't want to, if you're a premium subscriber, you don't want to call or you don't want to ask on live chat, because we're not going to be as much support as our developers will be on that. So, but anyway, let's get into SMS. Just by a show of hands or post in the comments or whatever, are all of you currently using SMS inside of DJ Event Planner? Or how many of you are, I guess? Anybody? Nobody? Couple? Okay. Couple yeses, couple no's. Rock on. And Victor just signed up, and we're going to talk about something, Victor, that you had emailed me about as well in this SMS chat. So a couple yeses, couple nos, couple maybes. Let's talk about why SMS before we dig into it. Obviously, if we don't know, a lot of the way society has gone is they want an instant response or instant communication versus email. Obviously, email, there's that delayed back and forth. There's still a little obviously delayed back and forth with SMS, but it's a lot quicker and a lot more instant. So it allows us to create a quicker conversation and get into our clients' hands and in front of their eyes quicker. So with SMS, there's a lot you can do. So I think one of the first places that we're going to visit is just for those of you that have not set it up, we're going to kind of walk through the real brief process of setting it up and a few things that are important to know so that you don't mess those things up. So I'm going to jump in here. I'll share my screen right quick here. So this here is in our demo account. To get to SMS settings, if you're on your homepage or your dashboard, wherever you may be, click on Setup in the left menu and then click on SMS. Pretty simple. If you've not set up your SMS yet, you're going to click on Settings. And we'll see that we have some settings in here already. If you've not set that up, you're going to click on Edit, and you're going to enter your Twilio credentials from here. Now, if you do not have Twilio set up yet, there is a Twilio setup guide. You're going to want to make sure that you read through this entire guide and follow each step. Inside of, and I'll show you briefly inside of Twilio as well of how to get that set up. There is a webhook that needs to be input into your Twilio account.
That's on the other tab. So on the other tab, if you go back to the main software.
Right, See, it's been a while for myself as well. So you're going to get this webhook here. This needs to be put inside of Twilio. And an important thing to know is if you're on a basic plan or a trial account, when you set up your Twilio and your SMS originally, you're going to want to revisit this section and update the URL inside of Twilio if you upgrade to a standalone or higher. Now, how you access this inside of your Twilio account, you can sign up for a free trial to test it out. When you log in, this is going to be your dashboard. On your dashboard, you're going to see your account SID, your auth token, and your phone number. And don't worry, this is a trial account, so I'm not worried about you guys seeing my private auth tokens. And those are going to be placed up here as in your account SID, your auth token, and your Twilio number, of course. Now, this webhook is going to be placed in a different section. The webhook, to get inside of your, or to get to that section, you need to edit your number. To do that, you can click the little three-dot icon on the left here. It'll open up your side menu, and you can click on phone numbers. And a great shortcut that Alex just taught me as well is when you hover over this menu item, you see a little pin on the right. You can click on that, and it'll pin that to this little quick menu there, so you can easily get to your phone numbers quickly. Once you're on your phone numbers page, it'll show you again your webhooks that you currently have in here. You're going to click on the number to load the settings for that number. And then as soon as that loads, down here, the webhook that you want to update is right underneath messaging. When a message comes in, you're going to take this URL from inside of DJ Event Planner, and you're going to copy that, and you're going to paste it into this field here. And that's it. And then, of course, click Save Changes down here at the bottom. And then you'll be all set. Again, if you set this up on a trial or a basic account and you upgrade to a standalone or higher, you're going to want to come back in and re-update and update this URL so that it points to your actual account.
While you're in there, Fletcher, you might want to, oh, no, that's using my credentials. Let me go update that. Okay, go on. Sorry, carry on.
No problems. So once you have your Twilio set up, and that's a really good question. I don't know if we have something backed up on that. I just saw a question come in from Shane. He asked, what happens if somebody calls that number? I think there's a message that plays, right?
Yeah, so this is, funny enough, something I just mentioned to Fletcher. If someone tries to call the number, what happens is generally they'll get a generic error message. Mm-hmm. However, I have recently found out that you can, in theory, create a voicemail system, which I think is pretty epic. I'm still playing with that at the moment. Obviously, been off like not quite well for the last 2 months, so haven't been able to play. But There's something quite cool in that where I think we might be able to do something like a voicemail system or redirecting the call or something along those lines. I've already figured out some of those bits.
So that was a question as well. Shane commented as well, would it be cool if it could be redirected to the business line, or if there's a possibility to use the business line phone number? I know that definitely is something with Twilio, whether you can use an existing number. But
so when sending SMSs, you can only send from the number that you've registered with Twilio. You can't spoof being another number. And also, I'm just reading up on the new law changes in the US.
You can't
where it's going to be, you're going to have to register a specific SMS number. Something, it's called an A to P 10 DLC or something along these lines. I'm reading up on it, guys. Once I know more, I'll put some information out either on the forum, user to user group, or within the FAQs.
For sure. And I see that some users are saying that you can spoof the number on Twilio.
Yeah, if you verify your number that it's yours, Twilio will allow you to spoof your number. I sent a request in a while ago. Basically, you just need to change the API request that comes from DJ Event Planner to to show that you want to use that number that's been authorized. So it is possible, and it's very easy to do. And Twilio confirms that it's your number, so you can't just spoof anyone's number.
I will look into that. I know here in the UK we can use alphanumerics, but you guys in the US can't. So I can have mine sent from Alex Entertainment, but in the US for some reason they won't allow that. Let me look into that one because I don't know. Honestly, don't know. And with all the new changes, because in a minute, and this sucks big style, you're all going to have to register for carrier network things, and each one of them charges different registration fees. So any software you use to send an SMS, regardless of if we use Twilio, Plivo, thanks for the link, Plivo, or any of the other SMS API people, all of the networks are going to be charging, apparently. I know one of them's charging $50 one-off registration fee. I think that's AT&T. And then to be able to send to T-Mobile, it's going to be a $4 registration fee with them. I don't know the full ins and outs on it yet. I'm still reading up on it. I only found out about this a few days ago. So I will find out and see what we can work out for that. But obviously, yeah, if we can spoof numbers, brilliant. I'll see if I can get that added in as well.
Yeah, and that's definitely some new change. I mean, that's just with technology, period. There's always going to be changes that come up and laws that are put in place and things. And in fact, we're going to cover some of those today, some of the stuff that we do know and that we're aware of and that we're working on. So that's a great segue actually into this section. So I don't know if any of you that have recently set up, I know Victor has, been requested by Twilio when you set up your account to verify certain items, to verify the opt-in as well as a stop or an opt-out option and method. So we're going to kind of cover that real quick as well, and that's going to lead into this next section. So here in the States, I don't know how it works in other countries. Obviously, we have the FCC who creates specific laws here in the United States. And there's some specific things regarding unsolicited text messages. There's a fine line, a gray area, a little bit, of course, between solicited and unsolicited. A solicited text message means that a person contacts you and says, hey, text me, or they text you first. Then obviously you can text them back. Unsolicited is texting somebody who hasn't texted you yet. So how to get around that and how to make sure that you're compliant with FCC laws and Twilio. And I'm sure a lot of you have gotten emails from Twilio lately about their these things. Recently, they've been sending them out to anybody that's registered with Twilio, whether you have a paid account or a trial account. So how that works basically is on our website tools, we got something that we're going to implement. We should be implemented shortly, I'm assuming, Alex, right?
Yeah. At the moment, I don't know when the next code rollout is. What day are we on? Tuesday.
Tuesday. So
Tuesday. So code rollout will probably be at some point again in the next few days. If not, it'll be on Monday. And what we're going to do is if you go to setup and then SMS.
Yeah, we're going to show you over here. So underneath setup SMS and then features, this is going to be added here on the right-hand side. And again,
I'm still building it at the moment, so it's subject to change. It's still being built just once we've worked out everything we need to get.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then basically you can enable opt-in, opt-out consent, which is one thing you have to have in the US. Mm-hmm. We don't have to have it here in the UK or Europe. So this is why we're making it an option. So once you enable it, this will, the way I'm working it, it will add a checkbox to the end of each of your website tools where you take a phone number. And you can choose what the checkbox wording says. So you could put something like, click the box to allow us to accept SMS messages or from our company. You can word it how you want to word it.
Right.
As long as you're getting explicit consent, and I'm putting that in quote marks because it's an ambiguous term, really. Because in theory, if they're giving you your their phone number, they're kind of giving you consent.
Right.
But it doesn't always look like that. So you can type in the wording and a checkbox will appear on your website tools. That will then save their details similar to a privacy policy or terms of service checkbox. So you've got that option. Mm-hmm. We're also going to include a keyword scraper system, which I've always wanted to introduce anyway, but I've never really got too far into that. But what this will do is if the client sends a message from their phone number with the word, whatever keyword you've put, like stop, unsubscribe, anything like that, they will then be opted out. So that means you won't be able to send them an SMS at all. If you try to send to that number, because you don't have consent, it won't get sent. And that's just to comply with the Twilio rules, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how we're going to go forward with existing SMS history. My thought on this, reading up on, because you'll see I've put a link there to the messaging policy. In the policy, Twilio say, if you've had prior conversations, then you've got consent. So in my head, if there's a history already for that client, you've already got consent. Would we all kind of agree with that? What do we think? Do you think, like, if you've got a history, they've consented? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have history with the client, back and forth communication via SMS, and that has absolutely consent.
We'll do that. And then for anyone new, they'll have to tick the tick box for you guys in the US. And we'll work it. Between us, we can try and all work it out how we want it to flow.
So, and as well, once this is available in the system, unless you have the dynamic code, I'm assuming you will have to update your coding on your website. So you have to get a fresh copy of the code, or take the part of the code for the SMS opt-in, opt-out and add it, correct?
No. Oh, yes. So if you've already got the request for info form embedded on your website or the instant quote tool embedded on your website, then yeah, you'll need to get new HTML because there'll be a new checkbox to go in the bottom. But that's all you'll need to do is just replace your website tools if you've embedded the HTML.
Correct. So that will resolve a lot and make sure that you guys are compliant, especially here in the States. Again, other countries, make sure you follow the local laws regarding solicited and unsolicited text messages. Because all it takes is that one person to say, well, I didn't get requested a text, and all of a sudden you're getting a letter from the FCC, and you don't want that. Trust me.
What's the FCC?
Federal Communications, something, whatever committee. I don't remember what it is.
Got you.
Compliance, Federal Communications Compliance, I think.
That's a bit like our Ofcom, I think it is, like our telecommunications regulator.
Yeah. And usually the first warning, I think, is usually a cease and desist. And then from there, though, if you have, again, it takes one, I don't want to say Karen, but, it takes one Karen to cause that to happen.
One thing I will say is I've already read up on their terms and conditions. What Twilio are going to do, they're going to have a transitional period. Mm-hmm. So if for some reason you haven't registered or you haven't done a consent check or things like that, then they will if they identify you as someone that needs to have this, then they will get in contact with you directly and try and work with you to get yourself sorted, basically.
Oh, yeah. And so in the meantime, again, Twilio is going to start, when you guys sign up, reaching out to you and asking you to verify these two things. And to show them that, it's just as simple as maybe taking a screenshot of your request information form with the opt-in button or the checkbox that says, click here to receive text, whatever you word it. And then also just telling them that at the end of messages, you're going to have a specific opt-out keyword for them to opt out. And stop, I think, is usually the best. It's short. It doesn't take up too many characters. So it's just real simple as reply of stop to opt out of stop receiving messages, whatever it's going to say.
I've made the keyword a maximum length of 12 at the moment. So that would allow you to write something like unsubscribe or something along those lines. No, unfortunately not, Shane. So basically, they have to opt in. It's always opt in. You're not allowed to force them to opt out. So you're not allowed to enforce unsolicited messages and things like that. Yeah. Always got to be an in, not an out, which sucks.
If they don't check the box, that means we can't text them.
Yeah, basically, it's got to be explicit in.
Yeah.
But yeah, the keyword, maximum of 12 letters. I've kept it short, but you can write up to like unsubscribe, stop, end.
Bug off.
Keeping it short and sweet, one word, basically.
Right. Rock on. So that's some of the newer stuff that's coming up with SMS and a few of the rules and regulations that we definitely wanted to touch on. And again, those are, rules are always going to change. Governing bodies are always going to make changes. Software companies are always going to make changes, whether it's Twilio or any other text messaging service. So these aren't set in stone by any means, and these are open to be changing in the future, just FYI. So, and that's.
But we'll obviously, we'll try and keep you all in the loop as best as we know and work it out from there.
And once this stuff is set up as well, too, we'll have a guide. We will put together a guide for you guys of some sort of video or a text guide as well. I'm going to put together a Twilio video here shortly of how to set up your Twilio. Because I know sometimes it can be confusing when you get in there just to find the specific spot that you're looking for.
And I'm going to be honest, I haven't found time since I did the beta video to redo the video. Sorry.
So back to SMS, just setting it up. Once you have your credentials in place and you have your settings set up, you want to have it set up, your credentials set up for every person that's going to be texting.
Do you want to pop over to demo?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
There we go.
Forgot which account I was on.
Yeah, I just spotted it. I was like, whoop.
So for every person that you want to have send text messages, you want to make sure that their credentials are set up inside of DJ Event Planner in order to allow them to send messages when they log into their employee account. And then from there, what's that?
The master administrator has full access to everything. There is no restrictions on the master administrator account. If you want to click on setup for one of the employees, Fletcher. Basically, what you can then do, so the master administrator has full access to everyone's information. But what you can do is allow employees to have separate numbers and also view other people's numbers. So you're giving them permission to view only.
And no, you don't need a different number for each employee. That's only if you want each employee to have a different number.
Yeah, you can share the same number across. So for example, Fletcher could now go and duplicate the details for master administrator into John Smith's, and both John Smith and master administrator can see anything to that number.
Yep.
So everything is based around the phone number. That's how you've got to always look at this one. So it's always based on phone number and not so much client ID, event ID, employee ID, because we don't get any of that info from Twilio. We just literally have a phone number. That's it.
Yep. Perfect. So once you have your credentials set up, the next step is to, a couple settings as well. Let's kind of go through that. Underneath features as well, there's auto assignment. If you want to have the message auto assigned to a specific person based upon the phone number, the client, employee, contact, vendor, venue, you can click this box here and it'll auto attach it to that record. Real simple. If you want to manually assign it, then uncheck it. Really easy.
Yeah, that was one-off feature. That's all we've got right now until we get the other bits and bobs.
Yep.
How that works, by the way, guys, is we strip out all characters except for the phone numbers, and we basically go through your record set to try and find anyone that we think it matches to. And as if we go back into features again, you'll see there is an order of priority. So we'll always try and assign to a client first, then employee, and then we work our way down, because you're less likely to text a venue than you are a contact and vendor. So we did it that way around. You're most likely to text a client and an employee.
Absolutely.
Just in case you've got the same number on two records somewhere, like an employee and a client.
Okay. Currently under templates, we have two event template types, or two template types. Let me rephrase that. Events and meeting reminders. And again, events are based upon one single event. Meeting reminders, of course, are for meetings that you set inside of DJ Event Planner. On events, just like email templates, the settings are very, very similar and all the same. You can build it out via merge tags. The name is, of course, just for you. Unlike an email, text messages don't have a subject line. Now the character count down here, do we have a max number of characters that we can add into a text message, Alex?
There is. It actually varies again. So the recommended max is 960 characters, I think. They say that's about the maximum that most people are going to read. The theoretical limit is 1,600 characters. Please, people, do not make it 1,600 characters. That's going to cost a bomb. So 1,600 divided by 123 characters, because that's how much they get split down by, is 13 text messages. So if you write a massive long 1,600 essay, some clients are going to get 13 text messages rather than just one or two.
Right. And you definitely don't want your client receiving that many text messages in a row, because then they're more than likely to reply with stop.
There's that. So short, sweet, to the point. But we do give you some notifications as you start typing out your things. So if you copy and paste this a few times.
Yeah. Copy and paste this one.
Get to about 1,000 characters. There we go. We do give you an alert just to say what will happen. So some mobile carriers will split the message. Others will put it as one big long one. Here in the UK on O2, our messages get put as one big long one. And then there's a link to an online website to click and view to go and
Oh, few more.
see it.
Can you add a picture to the message? I don't think so.
MMS is something I'm working on at the moment. However, Twilio don't have a standard across the board. So I've already looked into this. It is something I want to add for definite. That is by and by one of the biggest things. With some carriers, it actually gets sent as an MMS. So you would get the actual multimedia message.
Yeah, right.
With others, you get sent to a link where you have to go to a website, register, download. Once I've worked out all the basics on that, then yes, I definitely want to add that in there.
Okay. And that's something else that I think is always important to know. You know,
right now you can't. Sorry, just to clarify, right now you can't put a picture in a text message because it's just text.
Yeah, you want to treat it like a plain text email message. And good rule of thumb is, again, short and sweet, to the point when it comes to via text messages, even with templates that you're utilizing. Links, you can put links in SMS, but the recipient's going to get a notification of be careful, whatever, whatever. Make sure you know this link is good before clicking on it. That's
also, some phones won't make the link clickable.
Gotcha.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Again, it varies. So you may find that some users are able to click the link and off you go. Right. Others can't.
So another good rule of thumb is if you want to send something with a link, maybe send it via email and then send the text message, hey, check your email. We sent you something with important information, whatever it may be.
One thing that would be quite nice would be a short link system.
Yes. That would be.
I'm just coming up with ideas now. Sorry, guys.
So looking at the settings, if you haven't had a chance to look at the settings of emails and the scheduling, obviously the campaign name is similar to the emails, so you can separate them internally when you're looking at the drop downs and when you're looking at the SMSs overall. Scheduling, same settings as I totally
scheduled email.
Scheduled email. Only two differences. You can send it. You can select what time of day it could be sent, and then you can also select update the event status, but not a booking helper at the moment. So you can update the event status once this message goes out. Again, when you're thinking about scheduling messages, and if it's for marketing or reminder purposes, again, short and sweet and to the point is always extremely important. So you don't want to send clients a story via text message that'll cause them to not reply and not want to work with you.
There is also one other thing in this new law stuff that's coming out in, I think they're saying June. You have to be careful on what times you send your messages as well. Something to do with antisocial times. So I don't really know how that would work for a DJ company, because obviously we do antisocial time gigs.
Well, we have that. If you guys are not aware, when you market in the US, at least, there is specific times that you're allowed to call in as far as solicitation calls go. And I believe it's currently 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And I would assume it still would be the same with text messages. You want to make sure that you're inside of that 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. window.
Always worth checking your local laws on that one, just to be on the safe side. Obviously, if we can find any info out, we'll let you know. But it's basically be considerate and don't be a bit of a, so honestly, really.
Don't text somebody at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then visibility, of course, where do you see the text message template that you set up? And that's it as far as the templates. And meeting reminders are the same. You could schedule how many days they go out in advance. You can either do set a specific day, I'm losing my brain today, number of days before the appointment and what time you want it to go out. You can also do it X number of minutes before the appointment. So this one would be great, as a day before reminder. Hey, just a reminder for your appointment tomorrow, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this would be great, as a reminder. Don't forget about our meeting, that in 2 hours or whatever it may be.
Shane, no. If you set it to 0 days and the time is after, it if it's outside of a 2 hour window, it won't send. So if you're doing an appointment for that day, I would say use X time before appointment. So use the minutes before appointment. So if you want to go out on the same day, use X time before appointment. If you want it to go out the day or so after or before, a few days before, use the set time of day for before appointments.
Perfect. And then you said, what about regular appointments? Could you expand on that? Oh, regular messages. Oh, how about for regular messages on scheduling? Okay, that makes sense now. So if you do 0 number of days before a date.
Oh, got ya. Yes, then in that case, it would get sent out on the day of the event of whatever date you've picked.
Correct.
Because you're more likely to have an event in the system for at least a couple of days beforehand. That's why there's no minutes before, because you're not likely to have it last minute, half hour. If you are, then I would say manually send an SMS.
Anyways, so perfect. So now managing your SMSs, if you haven't done it yet, you have 2 spots. You have the SMS Hub, which I'm not sure is why it's not appearing on there.
Control F5.
There it is. Yeah, that's weird.
How strange.
So your SMS Hub is here. The Hub is where you can see all of your messages, incoming, going, etc. You could compose a new message from here and manually enter the number. You have your messages, and then of course, all messages. As the admin, if you're logged in as a master admin, and you click on My Messages, you're still going to see all messages because you're the master admin. If you're in an employee account and you click My Messages, then you're going to see just your messages.
On an employee account, they wouldn't see all messages unless they've got access to other people's phone numbers. Yeah. Now, a really cool tool is if you're logged in, if you're the master admin, it only shows for the master admin, and that's that gray box at the bottom. List all messages, table view.
Gotcha.
I tell you what I will do. I will take control of the screen for the minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm worried about which screen I'm sharing. Okay, can you all see my SMS list?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is my account. This is my personal account, but I use it for demo testing. So as I'm logged in as the master admin, list all messages, and this is what it looks like. So I'm tweaking the design on this a little bit, but you can see all inbound and outbound in a tabular format. It also means that you can view the whole of the message, who it was sent to, and also the contact ID. So if we're able to work out who it was, perfect. The other thing you can do with this is mark as unread, or you can do multiple deletions. So you can literally tick, 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 delete selected messages. If for some reason you ever have a problem with an SMS, we may ask you for the SMS ID. So you would come to this bit, and if you click on Show SMS IDs, the unique Twilio numbers will appear there. You can also edit the message details. I do not recommend you do this unless we ask you to, or if you know what you're doing. The reason being is this can break your SMS messages, but if you've got a bug somewhere or something's gone a bit awry, you can go and edit the details as well. So it's a really cool little feature, and you can also do a full search as well. So you can type a little search term up in there. I've got no messages for hey. If I type in Alex, it brings up all the messages going all the way back to 2019. So it's a handy way to search for incoming and outgoing messages.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Fletcher, back to you.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. So I know we have a couple questions that have come in that I wanted to cover as well. Where'd it go? So I know we had a question about, do we have the ability to send an SMS upon booking or via booking helpers? I'm going to say not yet. And yet is a key word there. And I think
Because we knew this question was going to come up. I already knew it was going to come up. I'm already looking at the code. I think I have a method to be able to do it. I'm not going to give a time frame, but hopefully very soon.
Okay. And I know that's an important one. So as far as managing SMSs inside of your account, going back to it again, we really don't have a whole lot more cover. We're going to open it up for questions and answers further here shortly. But obviously you have the SMS Hub. And then when you navigate to a client, there will be an SMS tab once you have it set up. And this will be that client's SMS messages, basically the hub for that client, where you can create a new SMS from here from scratch, which pops up in a new window to allow you to compose, where you can select the template, or you just like email, you can click use a template and then select that template and it'll populate. I might as well show you what that looks like here. In the left-hand side, a new compose window. So you can select, obviously there's no number filled here because this account is a test account, has no phone number in it.
It does have one for the vendor.
It does have one for the vendor, yep. So you could pick which number you want. If it doesn't have a number on there, it doesn't auto-load the client, then just click send SMS. So it's pretty simple to use once you have it set up. The hardest part, I think, is really just focusing on getting it set up. The cool thing that you can do, and what I want to talk about, and we'll build out a future video or instructions about it, is creating a much more interactive campaign for your clients or workflow, because you have the ability to do some unique things with email messages, scheduling, and SMS. And I always encourage, a lot of times people ask me, or I'll meet with a lot of DJs that are like, I have like 3 or 4 messages I send out to the client and that's it. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, a consumer in general needs to be touched 10 to 12 times before they make a buying decision. And that is, it doesn't have to be all email touches. It's phone calls, SMS, emails, video ads, Facebook ads, social media ads, whatever that is. And that's just the general rule of thumb, is that a consumer needs to be touched 10 to 12 times before making a buying decision. In our industry, in the event industry, where the majority of our events come from things like weddings, we get clients who get engaged, they get happy, they get excited. They start looking for vendors for their event, not knowing what they need, what their cost basis is, what their budget is. And that's how we end up with a lot of ghost leads. They get excited, they fill out the information, they're not ready for us yet. So being able to create a comprehensive campaign, utilizing scheduled emails, scheduled SMS, specific event statuses and next actions for manuals to dos, really allows us to create a much better system to connect with those clients and get those touches with clients. So, but at this time, I think we're we spent enough time talking ourselves for the most part. I know we had a couple questions asked, so I'm going to open it up for further questions as well. And we have a couple questions coming in. Question for meeting reminders: does it send you a reminder or the client? Who does it send it? It's set to go to who you send it to. So, Victor, when you come into your templates, and it's going to be the client, but so if we click on events and we go to scheduling, just like emails, you'll be able to select on who it's going to. So you can schedule one for a meeting reminder to go to the client. You can send it to go to all assigned employees of the meeting. Oh wait, I'm on events. Never mind. Hold on one second. Meeting reminders. So with scheduling, it's only going to go to the client currently. Let me rephrase that. It's only going to go to the client. However, you can use, you can set a template up to use to notify employees in the appointment window. So there isn't a reminder that's currently scheduled to go out to employees for meetings. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Basically, the SMS reminder gets sent to the main person of the appointment. So if we go create a new appointment, Fletcher, at the top.
Wrong one.
And you see how you've got assigned to, and you've got client, venue, employee, vendor, contact.
Yep.
Whoever is the assigned to person is who the SMS reminder would get sent to. It would be quite cool to be able to look into sending additional SMSs, so it's something we can certainly take a look at some point. But if you've got the employee as
The assigned.
the assigned person, the SMS reminder will get sent to that person.
Yep. Does that make sense, Victor? Cool. And then
I see in a lot of clients' systems that they have the event status as like paid in full and different things like that. Isn't there a way that we can do that right in the message itself, whether it be the SMS or the email, that you can actually set it to send out based off the payments arrangements? Isn't that correct? Is that
We can do on let's have a look.
scheduling and then by payment? So if we
Okay.
went through that and said anything that's not paid in full, that would just send out to anybody that's not paid in full for payment reminders, as well as
correct.
if it's one payment, two payment. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we've got the by payments now. So we've got, if no payments have been made, 1, 2, paid in full, not paid in full. So you're looking to do it based on the status and the
Well, the book, right? To keep it clean, just have it as booked, and then have the payment reminder emails going out only if it's not paid in full.
right. So that makes sense. So what you're seeing is some people are using paid in full to
Yeah, and it's just a lot of mess, I find.
I
I'm just trying to build up a better system for these guys.
I concur on that. And that's something that I've always suggested to people is you're still using that booked status. There's no reason to have it paid in full if you're using scheduled messages, and unless there are some that just have a little OCD and they just want to know that the event's been paid in full. I guess that's the only other thing that I've come across. And
I find with that one, you could just do the, I'm sorry to take over your meeting here, but I found that with that one, you can just have the calendar or the event list having beside it what how much is balance is due in that, and then you'd be able to see from that point of view too.
no, I concur for sure.
Yeah, cool. All right.
thing about the book paid in full, booked paid deposit. I have to admit, I was that OCD and anal about things when I first started. My event status list when I first started using the software 10 years ago was ridiculous. I must have had about 100 different statuses.
Yeah, I'm trying to simplify that now. My OCD is just going crazy with it. It's like, oh my God, if I can't freaking simplify it, it's gonna be nuts.
I narrowed it down in the end just before I stopped DJing full time. I narrowed it down to basically requested info, sent the info, heard back, paid, booked. That was it. I got it down to 5. It was nice and simple.
Not to that point yet.
It worked. It wasn't always great. I missed one event once.
Isaac had a question as well. Can we send to multiple people with one message? Currently, right now, it's just one person at a time, correct?
Oh, you can send multiples.
You can send multiples. Okay, cool.
Not a problem at all. So if you go to, hang on, so always send out a message to multiple couples, clients at once. Okay, so a bit of a weird way to work this one because it's not actually built in to be used as bulk messaging. There's nothing in SMS to stop you from bulk messaging. We don't have any like restrictions like we do with email because we don't get blacklisted because you created the account with Twilio. It's you that gets blacklisted. So if you want to spam away. But the way you do it is this. Fletcher, if you want to do this for me. Okay, so go to the SMS Hub. Click on Compose Message. And then you comma separate your numbers in there.
Oh.
Now, there is a limit, I think, on how many you can send in one batch, and I can't remember exactly how many it is. I think it might be 25 in one batch. That's on Twilio's side. I'm not entirely sure. I'll see if I can find out while we're on now, but you can send to multiple people. What would be quite cool is if you could tick on a list and send, but I've never got round to doing that.
Perfect. And then on scheduling, can you send to multiple people? As far as checking the boxes, you can send it to more than one person. As far as, vendor, client, email, client, vendor, employees, venue, administrator. So if you checked all of these, then of course, it would send. I don't know if it's going to meet any limits through Twilio if you have more than 25, but
I'm going to look that up.
that's something that we should probably look into on Twilio, I guess, as well, too, is if they have any bulk SMS restrictions in place.
Oh. Well, that's bloody awesome. Okay. So as long as your message isn't too huge, in theory, you could send to up to 10,000 numbers in one go.
Holy crap.
Yeah. In theory. I wouldn't recommend trying that, guys.
Yeah, that's going to cost you a bit for one message to be sent, but and then I know Shane also asked when an event is marked as paid in full, makes their balance payment, to be able to have a text go out instantly that confirms the payment. There's not a way to set that up at the moment, but if we are able to figure out the booking helper with SMS, then that would be able to be set up. You could run a booking helper to add the payment, send an email and send a text at the same time. So that would be a plausibility then.
Yeah, once we've got SMS added into booking helpers at some point, that would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac, so I set up my account with Twilio and I can send a text from DJEP. However, when I respond, I don't see a response in DJEP. Okay, so that is webhooks.
Yep, so that means you're missing this URL here. So again, going back to that, you're going to go to your setup SMS settings, click edit next to who you're working with. Copy this webhook for Twilio. You're going to copy this whole URL. Make sure you have the whole URL. You're
Every single bit.
And you're going to paste it in there. This is what instructs what happens when that message, when they reply to you, what happens to it, and it sends it back to our API so you can see it inside of DJ Event Planner. Because you'll be able to see the whole communication underneath the client as well as in the SMS Hub of messages sent and received from that client.
Absolutely. You can see the full chat history. No, unfortunately not, Shane, because the phone works completely separate from Twilio. If you reply from your phone, it gets sent from your phone. One thing we have done, though, is if you've set up SMS notifications for when you get an SMS, yeah, if you've got the text being forwarded to your phone, I believe I've now added a link on the bottom, which should, in theory, once you log in, take you straight to the SMS history. So you can reply straight away and quickly. Okay, so should we create SMS history for you?
Yes. So now let's
okay, so if you reload that event page, so
it's got a quick text.
If there's a history for SMS, we've built a mini hub in the events. So if you've sent one to Donald Duxon, but you've also sent one to the employee on that event, then the history for the employee will also show in that message block down the side, so you can click between the different conversations.
Let's see.
Unfortunately not, Shane. I looked into that, trying to make it a bit more easier so it would just auto log you in. But for security reasons, we decided completely against that, just in case A, your phone gets stolen, B, something goes wrong. Like, we don't want people having access to your account just by clicking a single link. So it's one of those. But in theory, you should be able to, if your browser on your mobile has your login details saved, you should be able to just click it, log on, and it should auto redirect you straight to the responsive frame. Nathan, can you reply via your phone number from a notification? If you mean your own personal number, no. So at the moment, when you send a text message, it has to be via the Twilio number that you've set up and what you've registered with Twilio. The laws are changing in the US, so I don't really know what we're going to... I've got to research it all. Where you've now got to register your phone number to be able to actually send out an SMS on the carrier networks. So, as I was saying earlier, AT&T are charging $50 registration. T-Mobile, I think, is $4, and there's a few others as well. So I've got to look into it all. I only found out, literally, Fletcher told me about it last week, and I was like, crap, I need to research this.
So there'll be more to come on that for sure, guys.
Definitely.
And then can you auto mark a message as read when it comes in?
When a scheduled SMS is sent from DJEP, it marks it as a new message, red dot. Is there a way to not mark it as a new message? I didn't know it was doing that. It's probably because it's not been read on your side. I'll look into that, Chris. I'll see what I can work out. Out of interest, let's do a quick vote in the chat then. Just out of you guys. Should a scheduled SMS be marked as new when it's sent out? So should it have that new status?
One vote for no.
I was going to say, one vote for no. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one because it could be a case of you don't.
I personally want to know if there was a new message sent, I guess. I mean, obviously you have the SMS report that you can run just like scheduled reports. But sometimes I think it'd be nice to know that, you know, the message has been sent, obviously.
But then in sent emails, we don't have it marked as bold and new.
No, we don't.
I'll have a play. I'll see what I can come up with.
Sure.
I also noticed on mobile, as new messages come in, the hub doesn't update without refreshing, but refreshing goes back to dashboard for me. Shouldn't do. You should be on the frameless system, Shane. So when you're in the hub, it shouldn't update. You should only reload. If you can, pop it on the forum for me, along with the device type that you're using. And I can take a look at that, but it should also load, auto reload. As I did mention earlier, though, the hub is auto reloading every 2.5 to 3 minutes approximately. It varies so that all the accounts don't hit at the same time. So it could be that just where the network cuts out or something, it doesn't reload. That's probably what's happening there. Where you're on a desktop, the page is always constantly got an internet connection. Whereas if your phone closes off, I don't think you have a network connection sometimes. So it could be that. But pop over on the forum, let me know what device you're using, and then I'll try and replicate it with regards to the refreshing and going back to dashboard.
So yeah, I'll show you again. Yeah, Isaac here. So when you're going into Twilio, if you come into your dashboard, if you haven't created a pin over here for your phone numbers, click on the 3 dots. That'll open up your side menu here. Click on phone numbers, and then click on your phone number, and that'll load the settings for that phone number. So down here, when you scroll down, you'll see webhooks. You don't want to change the ones for voice and fax. Down here for messaging is where you're going to change that when a message comes in, you're going to paste the URL from set up SMS settings, edit, and this URL, this webhook URL is what you'll paste in there. So I think we're going to do one last call for questions, SMS or anything DJEP related, and then we're going to wrap this up because I know you guys got to get back to work, booking clients and getting prepped for this upcoming weekend. Hopefully you guys have events of some sort or something fun planned.
To be fair, we now are allowed to start having events again.
Gotcha.
Although weirdly, haven't been to the pub yet. Our pub's reopened last week and I still haven't been.
Fun.
I know, like the alcoholic in me is like dying here.
Oh, I almost forgot too. Midwest DJs Live. If you guys are going to the show or have not registered yet, you can use the referral code DJEP to receive $40 off the virtual registration. So I think it's $199 for a ticket. We're going to be attending virtually this year. We will have a booth that's going to be virtual. We will be going live from that booth. I don't know the specific times yet on that or the details. In fact, I just got an email about that. But again, if you enter the code DJEP Live to attend Midwest DJs Live next week, which is April 25th and 26th, Monday and Tuesday, you can save $40 off your ticket using the code DJEP for the referral code. And I'm trying to remember my dates. It is Monday, 25th and 26th and 27th, excuse me. The fun in Milwaukee starts on the 25th, but the convention starts itself on the 26th and 27th. So great opportunity to get some further education. If you can't make it or not allowed to travel or have travel restrictions, you can still attend virtually. Of course, DJ Event Planner, we're going to have booths at a couple of shows coming up this year. So make sure you keep your eyes on that. Visit and say hi. Shane said, never mind. So we'll figure that one out later. No worries, Shane. I want to thank you guys for all joining us this afternoon, of course, participating, answering questions or asking questions. Hopefully we're able to give you some kind of education, a little bit, something that you can take away from this. And again, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up through the support options found in the left menu of your DJ Event Planner account. Other than that, our next DJEP Live will be next month, planning on the third Tuesday of the month. Make sure you register for that because I think we're going to go over the new instant quote tools that are available. Again, those are still in open beta.
Which means I'm going to be back.
There may be some things. What's that?
Which means I'm back then.
He might be back in, yeah. We'll see if we bring him in. But as well, anytime if you want to see a topic, future one, I usually have a poll. I'm not going to run the poll on it, make you guys answer the poll this time. But if you have a topic that you want to see about in the future, feel free to shoot us a message or post it in the chat before we get on out of here. And we'll make sure we do that every month. I'd like to try to include a new piece that we talk about. Even if we have to revisit old pieces, I'm cool with that as well too. There's a lot to take in with DJ Event Planner and you can do a lot with it. So I want to make sure you guys can know as much about it as you can or share as much information as we can. So we did a session on booking helpers, Trevor, as well. It's on our YouTube page. So again, if you guys are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure that you guys get there. Somebody's watching it. Is that Alex? So we have a DJEP Live playlist. We did booking helpers 7 months ago. We can absolutely revisit it again coming up in the future. And every DJEP Live will be put up here. Make sure you click the subscribe button. If you want to be notified of new videos being posted, make sure you click the little bell and be notified of all, or personalize if there's only certain ones that you want to get. Again, the great ones here that Melissa does are the change logs. Every month she posts last month's change logs. And we'll walk through any new features or different features that have been added. So it's a great way to learn more about the system and the new things that have been added as well. So with that said, guys, once again, thanks for joining us. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And let's look forward to a really busy wedding season coming up, I hope. So perfect. Thanks again, guys. Have a great one.
Take care, guys.